Minute with Ray Richardson.
Coco Gauff's championship victory in the French Open Saturday morning set up an interesting development in women's professional tennis. The first two Grand Slam events in 2025 have been won by African Americans. Madison Keys, a 30-year-old African American from Rock Island, Illinois, won the Australian Open in January. Coco and Keys will be contenders at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open, the remaining two Grand Slam tournaments this year. Both are ranked among the top 10 in the world. Coco is number 2, Keys is 8th. With the $2.9 million she earned for winning the French Open, Coco's career earnings are now at $8.4 million since turning pro in 2019. Coco donated $100,000 to the United Negro College Fund to help support HBCU tennis programs. She also got the U.S. Tennis Association to commit $3 million to rebuild tennis courts in minority communities around the country. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again. Holla.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say.
Let's do this.
Let's get it on.
On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There will be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is Resilience in the Face of Chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
We love you. Love you.
Try to keep it coming. Things ain't always smooth. Oh, but I'll be alright as long as I can find the groove. Yes, I will. Yeah. Somehow I know that I can make it. You seem like my style. Don't you worry, I'm gonna be around a while.
Live from historic Leonard Park in Los Angeles, California, I'm Tavis Smiley, and I'm so glad to see you and me. Back in stride again. Before we get started with today's show, let me invite you to follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Real Tavis Smiley, and get updates on X, that's formerly Twitter, at Tavis Smiley. By the way, Should you miss any part of today's program or want to catch up on previous shows, you can always visit the TavisSmileyShow.com. That's the TavisSmileyShow.com, or wherever you get your podcast, and listen to the Tavis Smiley podcast version of this live program at your leisure. Another great show on tap for you today. In our second hour, two conversations. Up first, Rabbi Stephen Jacobs and Edward Ahmed Mitchell of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, join us for a timely conversation about the domestic and global conflicts around religious identity. That's the top of hour two. On the B side of hour two.
Fingers start shaking.
On the backside of our two, Grammy-nominated singer, producer, and founder of the legendary R&B group Club Nouveau, Jay King, talks about the multifaceted funk frontman and visionary musician named Sylvester Stewart, better known as Sly Stone, passed away yesterday at the age of 82. We'll offer a tribute to Sly Stone on the backside of hour two. In our third hour, two more conversations. Up first, a dialogue with Rachel Larrier, a racial wealth expert at J.P. Morgan Chase, anthropologist at Yale, and author of the new book, Black Capitalist, a blueprint for what is possible, on the B side of hour three.
But really, the reason why I want to be in a relationship because my family on my ass about having kids. That's a topic of discussion every time I go home. Hey, when you going to bring us some grandbabies? And I'm like, don't y'all want me to get married first? And they were like, nah, we're past that. Just come home a single mother. You're a strong black woman. It works. Sometimes I think about being a single mother, too, because I know if I become a single mother as a strong black woman, I'm going to have me a LeBron James first-round draft pick. Yeah. Yeah, look at you like, ballin'. Single black women produce NBA players, don't they? And if you don't believe me, just look at this, because LeBron James' son, he got his father LeBron, mother, they married. LeBron James' son went second-round draft pick number 55. And that's because he got a daddy, No motivation to be the best no more, All I'm saying is Jesus didn't have a daddy and he the last Messiah, Barack Obama, first black president, no father. All I'm saying is I'm sitting on presidential pussy right now.
Comedian Daphne Springs talks about her new Hulu special, LOL Live, presented by Kevin Hart's Heartbeat Productions. Plus, Daphne has a big Juneteenth show coming up and a string of national tour dates, which we will tell you all about when we get our laugh on today on the backside of hour three. But in this first hour, let's talk politics with our regular contributor, author, and professor of African American Studies at UCLA, Dr. Marcus Anthony Hunter. Before I get Marcus Anthony Hunter on the line here, he's actually on the line, before I get him on the air, some sound from Mayor Karen Bass. The mayor was on this program yesterday. Here's what she has had to say since being on this program.
I can't emphasize enough the level of fear and terror that is in Angelenos right now, not knowing if tomorrow or tonight it might be where they live, it might be their workplace. Should you send your kids to school? Should you go to work? And you remember this from several years ago, this same type of fear that was going around. And it makes me feel like our city is actually a test case for what happens when the federal government moves in and takes the authority away from the state or away from local government. I don't think that our city should be used for an experiment to see what happens in the nation's second largest city. Well, maybe we can do this to other cities.
Strong words, strong words. L.A. as test case, L.A. as an experiment. We'll start there when we come forward with Marcus Anthony Hunter on Tavis Smiley.
Sing the simple song. Mama
California to the Carolinas. Everybody's listening to Tavis. More when we come forward.
Looking for a purposeful and passionate way to make a difference in your community? Volunteer with our Senior Medicare Patrol and help prevent Medicare fraud. SMP volunteers work in their community educating peers about healthcare fraud and how to prevent and detect it. Free training starts soon. Check us out online or at an SMP open house near you. We're on a mission to stop fraud. Join our team. You make a difference. Visit caspvolunteer.org. Protect yourself from Medicare card scams. Scammers may call, email, or even knock on your door claiming they need your Medicare info, asking for money or threatening to cancel your benefits. Don't fall for it. It's a scam. Remember, Medicare doesn't need to verify your information. They already have it. Medicare won't charge you for a new card and will never threaten to cancel benefits. Check your Medicare statements for suspicious charges and report scams to the California Senior Medicare Patrol at 1-855-613-7080. We're here to help.
Make a move into a home of your own. With City National Bank's Ladder Up Home Loan Grant, you could receive up to $20,000 that you never need to pay back. Use it toward your down payment, save on closing costs, or to buy down your mortgage rate. Find out more at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Property must be in a qualifying market in California, New York, or New Jersey. Additional terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. Terms are subject to change without notice. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS number 536994.
Are you ready to play? Then jump into the LA 84 Foundation's Free Play Day Block Party, a community celebration for all ages, including live music, dancing, LA's pro sports teams, great local food trucks, plus special giveaways for you to take home. Enjoy an exciting, fun-filled day for the entire family. Join us Saturday, June 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at 2141 West Adams Boulevard. To register, go to la84.org. We'll see you Saturday, June 28th at LA 84 Foundation's Free Play Day Block Party.
LA's newest soul food restaurant is getting spectacular reviews.
Great place with amazing food. The Sunday champagne brunch is fabulous. I saw the place on IG. We tried it for lunch. We were blown away by the food and the service. The restaurant has an inviting atmosphere and a dynamic vibe.
Over the years, Lionel has catered most major black events in Los Angeles, including all of our KBLA Talk 1580 gatherings. But now he has his own spot, Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine, and you need to check it out at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles. Oxtails, baked or fried chicken, meatloaf, turkey chops, pork chops, catfish, short ribs, and all the fixins. Collard greens, mac and cheese, yams, red beans, black-eyed peas, and more. And of course, hot water cornbread, satisfying drinks, and delicious desserts. Lionel's is a great place for brunch, lunch, or dinner. If it's good enough for us, it's good enough for you, because we've got your black. So, head on over to Lionel's Soul Food Cuisine at 8501 South Vermont Avenue in Los Angeles and tell Lionel you heard about it on KBLA Talk 1580.
Freedom is an endless meeting. So let's get back to it with Tavis Smiley.
As you well know, June is Black Music Month, and every day during the month of June, you know how we do it. We choose a different artist of the day, and we play some of the best of their catalog all 3 hours of our program as we celebrate the music of black folk in the month of June. Sly Stone was not on the list today, but I'm sure you've heard by now that he transitioned yesterday at the age of 82, and so we changed the schedule to make sure that all 3 hours today we'll play the best of Sly Stone and celebrate his rich musical legacy. I look forward to talking to Jay King in our second hour in tribute specifically to Sylvester Stewart, better known as Sly Stone, dead at the age of 82. In this first hour, we're delighted to have again UCLA's Marcus Anthony Hunter, prolific speaker, best-selling author, and again, a regular contributor to this program, for which I am grateful. I should tell you right quick, Pete Hegseth, the Defense Secretary, is testifying as we speak in Washington, in Congress, in front of a committee, 5 months after being announced and appointed and approved as Defense Secretary. They're getting their first shot at him to ask him questions about the Defense Department, et cetera, et cetera. You can imagine that many of the questions that are being thrown at him right now have to do with what's happening in L.A. We started this hour playing some sound from L.A. Mayor Karen Bass, and wait for it. Pete Hegseth has just told Congress that the cost of sending these troops, National Guard and now the Marines, the cost of sending these troops to Los Angeles sits at the moment at $135 million. Yeah, you heard me. $135 million to send these troops to L.A. for what? Marcus Anthony Hunter, it's all yours. I ain't got to ask the first question. I'm just going to say go.
Yeah, I mean, first, shout out to you, King Tavis, for covering these things and also covering them nationally so that we all get to know what's happening. The price tag of that is wild and outrageous. And I'm out here in DC for the National Black Justice Collective's annual Equity Week, where there'll be a military parade birthday celebration for President Trump on Saturday to the tune of $45 million. So when I hear that price, we're now getting into the alleged savings of Doge. You know, did they save anything, or did they create a slush fund for President Trump to do all sorts of wild things with money that could be spent on poverty or childhood education and such? So that is wild and outrageous.
Yeah. What do you make of the mayor's remarks moments ago that she sees LA as a test case, as an experiment? So now the City of the Angels is, I guess we're a test tube now.
Yeah, she isn't wrong. I think the very first thing that I hear underneath her remarks is that earlier in the year, the president started off by arriving to LA post fires where people had lost homes and all sorts of things like that. Now, fast forward 6 months later, the folks are back, but they're actually deporting, arresting, and detaining people who are often a part of the actual reconstruction of these homes after the fire. And you'll recall when Donald Trump came to LA, he said he wants the red tape, he wants the construction done fast, he wants people back in their homes in a year, only to then go through Home Depots across LA and other places and actually just start arresting people on site. These are the folks who are helping to rebuild these actual communities. So it's actually in contrast to what he said in January.
Mm-hmm. What do you make of that contrast? That out of one, and he does this all the time, of course. Out of one side of his mouth, he's bragging. I was just reading this morning on Truth Social, and I try not to quote this guy too often because most of what he says doesn't make any sense. But he's on Truth Social, bragging about how the federal process and the federal red tape for rebuilding in LA has been removed, and the reason these permits are not being sent out, approved, I should say. The reason these permits are not being approved is because Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom don't know how to run a state. They don't know how to run a city. But we've removed all the federal red tape. The houses aren't being rebuilt. The permits aren't being let because you have incompetent Democratic leadership. That's a paraphrase of what he said on Truth Social just this morning. And then, to your point, on the other hand, you're rounding up the people who are going to be doing this rebuilding. If, in fact, these houses could be rebuilt, all of them, today, who's going to do the rebuilding? Because these folk are not at the Home Depots, they're not at Lowe's, they're not coming out of their houses. You heard the mayor say a moment ago, they're scared to come outside, they're scared to go to church, they're scared to go to school. And you're telling me now that if you could rebuild, like right now, you can rebuild. All these folk are going to come out of their houses and show up at these sites so you can trick them and round them up and deport. I mean, it doesn't make any sense at all, Marcus. Just go a little deeper. I'll take your point, though.
Yeah, I think it reminds me and takes me back to the coronavirus and the pandemic where we were literally afraid to leave outside for our lives.
Yep.
And he is facilitating a federal government apparatus that is in many ways mimicking the coronavirus. You go outside, you die. You go outside, we'll never see you again. And we're still in recovery from that trauma. So now you're introducing law enforcement into this scenario that just makes it really, really, really intense. And I think also, and this is just because I think the universe has a really interesting way of playing parallels, is that we hear about the Insurrection Act possibly being on the table to deal with folks who are doing peaceful protest around violating people's rights and the rights of other people and communities. And when it happened on January 6th of 2020, they became affectionately, through his lexicon, J6ers. They weren't even insurrectionists, they were J6ers. Here we go, June 6th. These are J6ers, but they're not being treated the way that folks who bust through the Capitol, who threaten people, who kill Capitol Police, like all of those things disappear. They were all pardoned. In this case, these folks are not being treated like they are protecting each other, that they are peacefully protesting and protecting democracy. He's calling them thugs and insurrectionists, which I just think is completely I hope people see that quote, or at least hear me repeat that the president, Donald Trump, is calling these peaceful protesters insurrectionists. He is not calling the actual insurrectionists. So it's also taking a vocabulary and placing it on people who are actually just trying to protect democracy and each other from unlawful arrest and detention, including the leader of the union, David Huerta. You know, he was detained and only released on Monday. So this is a lot of stuff that I think I heard former vice president at the State of the People tour on last Friday, call it a high velocity event. Like, this is also what's happening. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to put police against you. Now we're going to put in the National Guard, which, by the way, has not been sent by a president since 1965. And it was Lyndon B. Johnson. It was to protect civil rights organizers and protesters. This is the complete inverse of it. It is perverting the very use of presidential and executive authority.
I've got some audio here we're going to play for you in just a second here once I get it queued up here of Maxine Waters trying to get into the facility to see David Huerta. David Huerta is a major union leader here in Los Angeles. His head was bashed in. He was roughed up by ICE agents and detained. And you'll all recall a number of pieces of video or audio we've played on this program over the last few months of members of Congress trying to engage the accountability authority, the oversight authority that they have, and they've tried to get into certain facilities. You all recall Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, now running for governor in the Garden State of New Jersey, and the arrest of him at an ICE detention center. He wasn't trying to get in. He was there, doing his job as mayor. Engaged in a protest, got roughed up, got arrested. They eventually dropped those charges, but the member of Congress, the black woman whose name escapes me at the moment, but a member of Congress from New Jersey, from Newark, those charges have not been dropped against this black congresswoman. And so this is not the first time we have seen this, and nor the last time we see members of Congress trying again to exercise their oversight responsibility, being denied entrance and access to federal buildings, to federal institutions. It's a short clip here, but take a listen to some tape of Maxine Waters trying to get into the facility to check on David Huerta, and she was denied entrance.
Hello. Congresswoman Waters. I just came to use my congressional authority to check on David Huerta.
Ma'am, lobby securely now to all visitors.
Excuse me, I need to get in.
Contact our public affairs office.
I need to get in.
What are you hoping to do, Congresswoman?
I just want to see David Huerta. Right.
Would a congressperson normally be able to enter the...
Normally, yes.
What is happening here?
Well, there were some of the authorities, I don't know who they were, and I'm trying to get in to see David Huerta, who they have arrested. He is the head of SEIU local union here. I don't know why he was targeted. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know whether they're going to deport him. I want to report back. Hello?
I don't know I don't know what the answer to the prayer is here in this regard, Marcus Anthony Hunter. What I do know is that it just feels like Donald Trump has Democrats on their heels, on their backs, and that no matter what they try, they run into brick walls or slammed doors, if you feel me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, also in the video, when I was watching it, that the audio doesn't capture is that Congresswoman Maxine Waters, her hands were actually on the inside of the door as the officer is pulling it closed. And she, by the grace of God, actually is able to move her hands from the door before they're shut in the door, and she's holding the handle at the same time. So it's also, she could have been injured severely in this process, and also she is being disrespected at the same time. I think also what happens though is that a lot of times when people feel like, and this, I'll just go to spades, you know, I just say black folks, we love spades. There's these times where maybe you feel like you got all of the trump cards, and that's why I use the idea of spades. You got all the trump cards, and you feel like you could just run the game, that whole hand. And some people play that differently. Some people try to like do it quietly. Then other people want you to want to pound on you, want you to feel bad, want you to, all of those things. But the thing that happens is we all now are seeing it. This is all now visually recorded. She had been being mistreated, but now we're seeing her physically being mistreated publicly, and she's trying to actually do her job. And she's also talking about a U.S. citizen she's trying to look after. So that's the part that I think must be captured. And playing your hand this way is a hand that will get dealt back to you in a way that will deal you serious blows, is my projection.
The congresswoman out of New Jersey, whose name I could not recall moments ago, is Representative LaMonica McIver. She is the black congresswoman from Newark, who has been charged for appearing outside of an ICE detention center in Newark, and they put their hands on her. We played that audio a few weeks ago. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. You can hear them trying to, again, rough up this black female congresswoman. Charges against her by the Trump administration have not been dropped. They have, in fact, been dropped against Raz Baraka, the mayor of Newark, again, running for governor in New Jersey right now. So it's LaMonica McIver one day, it's Maxine Waters the next day. I digress for now. I want to come to this right quick. I got 90 seconds here. You can start and we can continue when we come forward, of course. But the thing about what jumped out at me when I saw the audio, I saw the video rather than heard the audio of Maxine Waters outside that detention center. Here's a black congresswoman going to check on a Latino labor leader. You see where I'm going? You see where I'm going here? This is a black congresswoman going to check on her friend, a Latino labor leader in SEIU. A far different cry from those Latino leaders we heard on tape a year or two ago, demeaning black people, disenfranchising to the extent they could, disrespecting black people. I just want to draw two parallels here because Marcus has done a few parallels already. I got to wake up in this first hour because he got me working on parallels, and I got 2 more hours to go. But speaking of parallels, since he's got me in that frame now, think of the parallel of Maxine Waters, a black congresswoman going to check on a Latino labor leader now, but what the Latino leaders were saying on those tapes about black leaders, about black folk then. That's the first parallel, which leads me to a simple question when we come forward. For those who still say, black folk I'm talking about now, that this is not our issue. For those who believe that this ain't our problem, this is not our issue. I'm going to cut Marcus Anthony Hunter loose on that part when we come forward. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
This is getting good. Yeah, man. Tavis Smiley continues when we come forward.
Pro-immigration activists in Chicago are protesting the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. Illinois Congressman Jesus Garcia spoke to the crowd that gathered for a rally.
This isn't about safety. This is about control. That's right. Fear is the tactic. Silence is the goal.
Week 5 of testimony in the sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs is underway. During testimony on Monday, one of Combs' former girlfriends, who was using the name Jane in the trial, testified she once had to use makeup to cover her bruises from an alleged physical confrontation with Combs. The BET Awards took place Monday night in Los Angeles. SZA was named Best Female R&B and Pop Artist, and Chris Brown was named Best Male R&B and Pop Artist. I'm Alexandria Ikamoni with BIN News Now. Back to you, Terry.
For victims of drunk and drug driving, our grief is unique. But you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call our 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit mad.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's baseball teams got a win last night. The Dodgers won their first game of the season against San Diego. They beat the Padres 8-7 in 10 innings in San Diego. The Angels beat Oakland 7-4 in Anaheim. Fifth straight win for the Angels over the A's. The Sparks lost for the second time this season to Golden State, the WNBA's new expansion franchise. Golden State held on for an 89-81 win at Crypto.com. The Sparks are 1-5 at home. Troubling news at Florida A&M. The HBCU school's athletic director, Angela Suggs, was arrested Monday on charges of fraud and theft. Police in Tallahassee, Florida claim Suggs ran up $24,000 in personal charges on a company credit card at a previous job. Suggs was released on bail. Florida A&M President Timothy Beard said he's aware of the charges surrounding Suggs, but gave no indication on how he plans to handle the situation. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. You ready?
Somebody make some noise in this joint.
KBLA Talk 1580 celebrates its 4th anniversary this year on Juneteenth.
Here we go again. Holla.
Hard to believe 4 years has gone by so fast.
Oh my God.
But here we are, still standing, still loving and serving our people as best we can.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
To celebrate our 4th anniversary, we have 4 big events, and you're invited to all of them.
She got a lot to say. Let's do this.
Let's get it on! On Wednesday, June 18th, we go live on C-SPAN for the 2nd consecutive year with our Climate Justice Plus Black Health Symposium. Tavis Smiley will moderate an all-star panel of thinkers and influencers as we continue our vitally important climate justice work.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, talk about.
On Thursday, June 19th, you're invited to join us as we celebrate Juneteenth and our 4th anniversary. There'll be plenty of food, fun, great music, good vibes, and all of your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts will be there.
Yeah, man.
Flip the beat. On Saturday, June 21st, there are 2 big events you're invited to attend.
I can't wait to hear it.
This year, KBLA Talk 1580 continues its annual partnership with the Empowerment Congress for a community celebration and dialogue to educate, engage, and empower. This year's theme is resilience in the face of chaos.
Can't wait to see what's up next.
Y'all ain't ready for this.
And new this year is our State of Black Women in Los Angeles Symposium, moderated by Dominique DePrima, with a luncheon to follow. Dominique will be leading a dialogue with some of the most impactful Black women leaders in Los Angeles, and you're invited to join.
This is it.
All of these events are free, but seating is limited, so you must register in advance at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can find all the details you need about each event.
Check it out.
It's our 4th anniversary, and we would love to celebrate it with you.
I love you guys so much. There's nothing you can do about it.
We're KBLA Talk 1580.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
Thank you for having our black.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Love you. Love you.
Less monologue, more dialogue. Tavis Smiley continues right now.
End of the spring, and here she comes back. High, 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 high there. Them summer days, those summer days. That's when I have most of my fun back. High, 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 high there. Them summer days, those summer days. I cry nights when I want to. Out of school, yeah. County fair in the country sun, and everything is
We're celebrating the musical legacy of Sylvester Stewart, better known as Sly Stone, who passed away yesterday at the age of 82. June, of course, is Black Music Month, and so every day this month we choose a different artist in residence, as we say around here, and play some of the best of their catalog. Sly was not on the agenda today, but given his transition yesterday, we pulled him up on the calendar, and so all 3 hours of our program today, weaving in and out of these amazing conversations with great guests like Marcus Anthony Hunter. We'll be playing some of the best of Sly Stone. I said moments ago, Marcus, when I played that clip of Maxine Waters trying to get into that ICE detention center to check on the SEIU labor leader, David Huerta, that it jumped out at me. Here's a black congresswoman trying to get into a facility, an ICE facility, to check on a Latino labor leader. And my mind went immediately to a year or two ago when the whole world heard those tapes of these Latino leaders disparaging black folk in a variety of ways. It is a parallel. It is an interesting contrast, which leads me to ask how you respond to those who say that this is not our issue, Marcus.
Yeah, I'm gonna remix 2 wonderful sociologists.
Go on and remix, Negro. Go do your remix. Go ahead.
One is the legendary Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., remixed with the legendary Robert Nesta Marley, better known to the world as Bob Marley.
Oh, yeah.
Who often referred, rather than saying slavery, often used the phrase subhuman bondage. And so taking 2 things where I would say subhuman treatment anywhere is a threat to humanity everywhere, right? So part of what we learn, whether we use 1619 as a date or 1524 or 1864 as a date, we are talking about centuries of Black people experiencing and living through legalized, sanctioned, constitutionalized, internationalized subhuman bondage. So what that means is that at an epigenetic DNA level, we are predisposed to be very vigilant about subhuman treatment anywhere, especially in our cities, in our face, in our country. And so I don't even know if Representative Maxine Waters, or Auntie Maxie, as we all call her across the world, what that she was thinking about what she was doing more than she was moved to do what she's doing. That even when people say this isn't Black people's fight, there are tons of times where fights have happened or battles or rebellions have happened that weren't necessarily about what people call Black issues. But as I teach students in my class, Black politics is all of politics, because effectively what it is a subhuman class of people are constantly vigilantly looking to create a world where they are fully included. So that is all politics. That's all policy. And so when we're moved to action, it's because we're seeing something that we know DNA wise is all too familiar and should not be happening in 2025.
And how do you read the fact that it is in fact happening in 2025? In some ways, this is a reel that we could have just rewound, right? We could just rewind, if I can say it. This reel, it is surreal, but it's not the first time. Here we are in 2025. And to my mind, racism is still the most intractable issue in this country. And again, if you look at the footage of what we're seeing here right now in LA, you could be looking at 1965 footage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think part of it is because the United States of America, even in its naturalization process, and also in its schools, in its television programming, in its radio programming, say for KBLA, shout out to you all on the 4th anniversary. Most other places where people receive information or education or learn, what they learn is that Black people are at the bottom of the hierarchy of America. And so all they want to do is not be there. But what they fail to realize is that you are there. Most people in America are at the bottom of the experience of America. They're just refusing to be in that consciousness. And it's these kinds of things that wake people up into a consciousness of, wait a minute, I thought if I moved, walked, and talked like what I hear the steady diet telling me to do, where I'm anti-Black, I support white people, or I value what white people are doing, that I'll be free from and safe from all of these things. And again, this lesson keeps being learned. We can start, for example, with our Jewish brothers and sisters who learned about the limits of whiteness, where you die on the edge of whiteness when we start not including you. But even today, we still can't figure out why they are still opting into whiteness. Back to the videos, the recordings that you were talking about, that I believe the LA Times won a Pulitzer Prize for covering, and the president then, Biden, asked for people to step down, including Kevin De Leon, who did not step down at the time. They were using the terms monkeys and all of these other things, because that's the steady diet that makes them feel like it's safe for me because I'm not Black. I'm not that. They would never confuse us. And then when these kinds of detentions happen, these roll up at elementary schools and taking children and their families out of graduations start happening, you go, wait a minute, but this wasn't what the fine print said. And they're like, no, there's finer print on that thing that you signed that said you are not a part of the dominant majority. We'll let you think you are. You can pretend like you are. But ultimately, when push comes to shove, when the rubber meets the road, ICE can come for you.
Marcus Anthony Hunter dropping bars like he always does. There's fine print, and then there's finer print. Y'all heard him. Fine print and finer print. But did you hear that phrase, dying on the edge of whiteness? Dying on the edge of whiteness. This is why I love me some Marcus Anthony Hunter. When we come forward to other issues, I want to let him stretch out on in no particular order. It started here in LA, and yesterday we saw anti-ICE protests coast to coast, from California to the Carolinas. This unrest is growing. This national momentum is growing. I'm not going to call it a movement yet. I believe that you start with a moment. That moment builds momentum, and if you're fortunate, that momentum turns into a movement. We got some momentum, it appears, at the moment. Not quite a movement, we shall see, but these protests in cities all across the country now are speaking to me in high volume. And then, of course, Donald Trump's travel ban, barring citizens from 12 countries, mostly African countries. You knew that, right? Africa, some Middle East countries. That ban went into effect yesterday. And so here we are talking about immigration. And in some ways, this is a weapon of mass distraction, a WMD. What he's doing here in L.A. is distracting us from the budget that they're trying to pass, distracting us from this travel ban, not allowing black and brown folk in this country, distracting us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. More when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Generous listening. Charitable listening. That's why everybody wants to talk to Tavis. The conversation continues when we come forward.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month. If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 congratulates Pastor and Mrs. William Sachs Epps on their retirement from stewardship at the historic Second Baptist Church. Dr. Epps has faithfully served Second Baptist as its senior pastor for 37 years. What a legacy of love and leadership. Pastor and Mrs. Epps will be honored at a luncheon on Saturday, July 26, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, and you're invited to attend. Noted scholar Dr. Michael Eric Dyson is the keynote speaker. For ticket information, please contact epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. That's epsretirement@gmail.com or call 213-399-2103. To Pastor Epps and First Lady Epps, congratulations from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
More honesty than you can handle. More empowerment than you can imagine. You're tuned in to Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and UCLA's Marcus Anthony Hunter. Marcus, how are you reading these anti-ICE protests, literally from California to the Carolinas now?
Yeah, I see it in the old tradition of the Mozambique Revolution, a luta continua. You know, the struggle continues. And part of what I think is also important is that we always have to remember that America is both a kind of national conversation, but also an international one. And it's important that people, our brothers and sisters across the world, understand that many of us are not taking these policies, these infractions, taking these moves against our freedom, laying down. We do not think that this is acceptable. Many of us did not vote for it. In fact, it effectively was a 50-50 election. It's sort of like a true-false question. And in that 50 outcome that Trump won, that means that there's 50% of us who should be having our foot on the administration's neck at all times. And I see these cross-country protests as a reflection of that. That there's one thing when you talk wild things, but it's another thing when you start making children afraid to go to school. And then you simultaneously defund those schools. This is what's happening. So right now we're hearing about the ICE combination, but it's important for people to also understand that these are simultaneous activities, simultaneous policies where Secretary Linda McMahon is defunding public schools and higher education places at the same time that ICE is being authorized and ordered to go up into these schools and also remove children and families. So this is making school unsafe. And if school becomes unsafe, then what are we doing? How are people going to learn? And it's already in a context where school shootings are already a massive epidemic in the country. So now we have the government interfering with the very existence of schooling and education from multiple sides. And that is unacceptable.
And say a quick word about this Trump travel ban, barring citizens from 12 countries that went into effect yesterday, mostly black and brown countries.
Absolutely. I mean, the travel bans are really wild and outrageous. I think also sometimes it reminds me of a way that in times America or Americans can be really condescending and also can think a lot of ourselves that other countries don't think. So, for example, some of these travel bans, I'm curious what the estimates of the numbers of people who wanted to come from these countries were. You know, some of what is being put out from our country across the world is not making America a place people want to visit. You know, so this idea of travel banning is really odd and curious because we haven't heard about this massive influx from all of these countries because everybody wants to live here. So it's targeted. And again, as you say, black and brown, the fact that it is centered and rooted in a lot of African nations is really unfortunate and also speaks back to the anti-African foundation of the United States of America, first and foremost. So it's returning back to certain kinds of roots, which again, President Trump campaigned on. Making America great again is premised on being anti-African, because that going back to some America is an America that only extracted and exploited Africans and barred them, only extracted and exploited Chinese people and barred them. That's where we are. Yeah.
I was thinking when you were talking about the Canadians, you ain't got to tell them not to come. They're like, we ain't thinking about y'all. After Donald Trump talked about trying to annex Canada, tourism, the numbers are dramatic. Tourism from Canada dropped exponentially, significantly, because they were just so insulted by Donald Trump's language. So the Canadians, at least, you ain't got to tell them not to come. They ain't thinking about us. They ain't trying to get here. They're keeping their money and spending it somewhere else. I digress from that for now. When we come forward in our remaining moments with Marcus Anthony Hunter, I would dare not ask this question of the mayor right about now. It'd be inappropriate to ask her in this moment, but I certainly can ask Marcus Anthony Hunter what we think this moment does for her political fortunes. She's in a hard way right about now post the fires, but this moment she seems tailor-made for, and she's stepping into it, as she should, as the mayor of our city. What does this mean for her political fortunes? We'll talk about that when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
Why does Tavis say when we come forward? Because he's not going back. And you don't have to go back either. Forward ever, backward never. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found BenefitsCheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. BenefitsCheckup.org.
You know where you want to go in life, and City National Bank can help. City National knows the dedication it takes to build your vision for the future into a reality, and our team is here for you. We have a wide range of options to help, from personal savings accounts to interest-bearing money market savings accounts and more, all designed to help you get where you want to go. City National, here for every stage of the journey. Learn more at cnb.com. City National Bank is a subsidiary of Royal Bank of Canada, member FDIC.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project.
Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail, and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail, because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's me, Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. I see those dry elbows, baby. But don't worry, get moisturized right in the shower. So hydrated you can skip the lotion after.
Don't wanna see it dry no more. Skin so moisturized with body wash.
Look at you now, no more dry skin. Your skin gets the moisture it craves with
Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash.
BET and PBS, The Tom Joyner Morning Show, and NPR, the cover of Jet and the cover of Time. #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list, 20 honorary doctorate degrees, a dozen NAACP Image Awards, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. From talk shows to talk radio, nobody's ever done it better. You like that? This is Tavis Smiley. Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Tavis Smiley and Marcus Anthony Hunter, professor of African American Studies at UCLA, brilliant writer, author, and honored to have him as one of our regular contributors on this program. So the mayor joined me on Sunday. We did a 3-hour special, Marcus, on Sunday. The mayor, the city attorney, Sheriff Luna, everybody was a part of this special we did on my local station here in L.A., KBLA Talk 1580 on Sunday. We played some audio of that on our program with some audio from the mayor and the sheriff and the city attorney on yesterday's program for the national audience. But I think the country knows that Karen Bass is in some trouble, some hot water. I mentioned a few days ago that the top 4 cities in this country once had all black mayors. Houston, Sylvester Turner, God rest his soul, Eric Adams in New York, Brandon Johnson in Chicago, Karen Bass in L.A., and all 3 of those who remain are in some trouble right about now. What say you about the way the mayor's leaning into this, and whether or not this situation, which she did not plan, nor did she plan the fires, but what is it? How are you rating her right about now, and how do you see this with regard to her political fortunes?
Yeah, I think that Karen Bass has had a tall order, and I think many people, if you've ever had a chance to interact or engage with her personally, she is a very solid human being.
Mm-hmm.
And so she is not saying things for political clout or political gain. When she's talking about how LA is being treated and utilized as a test case, she really means that, but she means it not to just take target at the federal policies, but to let the rest of Angelenos know that she has our safety in mind, that she is working at all times of the night and hours to try to create a safe environment for people to protest and for people to also respect the rule of law. So she is trying to thread those needles at the same time. I do think that what is really important about her leadership in this moment is that she is standing up as opposed to standing back, that she is answering questions, that she is holding court when being asked questions, and she's not mincing her words. So it is very clear where her position is. And she's saying that we did not ask for or invite this whole federal invasion of our city, and we were not consulted either. And that is a violation. And so I think it's important that she's holding that fort and letting people know that the leadership of LA is really committed to their safety and also to their First Amendment rights at the same time. And that's really hard to do because you're up against the president. And for her to take that stance is very powerful.
Marcus Anthony Hunter with another parallel. I'll close with one final parallel. I've pushed Karen Bass up higher on my prayer list because I'm watching her try to navigate, try to balance this critique of the Trump administration, this pushback of ICE, and at the same time sound a theme of law and order. With regard to the protesters, speaking of parallels. So again, she's on my prayer list right now. Marcus Anthony Hunter, always honored to have you on this program. Thank you for your contributions. As always, we'll do it again soon, my friend.
You already know.
Thank you, sir. More of Tavis Smiley when we come forward.